In the remote hills of Montana, where wild Mustang herds roam free across endless prairies, an unlikely friendship between two completely different species would challenge everything. Animal behaviorists believed about interspecies bonding and create one of the most heartwarming rescue stories ever documented. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell for incredible stories of animal friendships that will restore your faith in the power of compassion. When Copper, a loyal Australian cattle dog, discovered a severely injured rare buckskin Mustang stallion trapped in a ravine, what happened next would not only save the horse's life, but would create a bond so extraordinary that it revolutionized our understanding of animal empathy, inspired groundbreaking research in animal therapy, and proved that love knows no boundaries between species. Ranch foreman Jack Sullivan had been working the Double R Ranch in the foothills of Montana's Glacier National Park for over 20 years, but he had never seen his faithful cattle dog, Copper, behave with such desperate urgency as he did on that foggy October morning in 2023. "What's got into you, boy?" Jack asked, as Copper barked frantically and pulled toward the rugged canyon area that bordered their property. The 4-year-old Australian cattle dog, known for his calm demeanor and unwavering loyalty, was acting completely out of character. Copper's agitation had started at dawn when he refused his breakfast and began pacing near the ranch house, whining and looking toward the distant ravines where wild Mustang herds occasionally crossed onto ranch property. His behavior was so unusual that Jack decided to follow the dog's lead, not knowing they were about to discover a situation that would test both their courage and compassion. What they found when they reached the steep-sided ravine took Jack's breath away. At the bottom of a 20-foot drop, partially hidden by fallen rocks and debris, was a magnificent buckskin Mustang stallion, one of the rarest color variations in wild horse populations. But the stallion's beauty couldn't hide his desperate condition. "Dear God," Jack whispered as he assessed the scene. "How long have you been down there, big guy?" The stallion, whom Jack would later name Dakota for his incredible spirit, was trapped by a massive boulder that had shifted during a recent rock slide, pinning his left hind leg and making escape impossible. His golden coat with distinctive black mane and tail identified him as a rare buckskin genetic variant that occurred in less than 2% of wild Mustang populations. "This horse is worth more than most people's houses," Jack said to Copper as he tried to figure out how to help. "But more importantly, he's a living being who's suffering." Dakota's condition was critical. He had obviously been trapped for several days, and his weakened state suggested severe dehydration and possible internal injuries from his struggle to free himself. Most concerning was the deep gash on his trapped leg, which showed signs of infection that could become life-threatening without immediate treatment. But what amazed Jack was Copper's behavior toward the trapped stallion. Instead of the wariness that most dogs showed around large horses, Copper approached the ravine edge and began what could only be described as communication with Dakota. The dog's body language was calm and reassuring, and remarkably, the wild stallion seemed to understand that Copper was trying to help. "I've never seen anything like this," Jack observed as he watched the interaction between dog and horse. "It's like they're talking to each other." Copper's assessment of the situation seemed more accurate than Jack's initial evaluation. The dog had identified not just the location of the trapped horse, but had somehow communicated to Dakota that help was coming. The stallion's breathing had visibly calmed in Copper's presence, and his struggles had ceased as if he understood rescue was imminent. The challenge now was figuring out how to extract a 1,200-pound wild stallion from a ravine without specialized equipment or veterinary support, all while maintaining the fragile trust that Copper had somehow established with one of nature's most naturally suspicious animals. The rescue operation that followed would challenge every assumption Jack had about wild horse behavior and reveal the extraordinary depth of empathy that existed between his loyal cattle dog and the trapped Mustang stallion. "We need heavy equipment to move that boulder," Jack told his ranch owner, Bill Rodriguez, over the radio. "But the nearest crane service is 3 hours away, and I don't think this horse has that much time left." But Copper had a different plan. While Jack coordinated the rescue effort, the Australian cattle dog positioned himself at the ravine's edge and began what appeared to be a systematic effort to provide emotional support to Dakota. The dog's presence seemed to have a calming effect that allowed the stallion to conserve energy instead of panicking. Dr. Elena Martinez, a large animal veterinarian from nearby Kalispell, arrived within an hour to assess Dakota's condition. What she discovered amazed her as much as the horse's precarious situation. "This is extraordinary," Dr. Martinez said as she observed Copper's interaction with Dakota. "The dog is essentially providing therapy to keep the horse stable while we organize the rescue. I've never seen interspecies communication this sophisticated." Copper had somehow understood that Dakota needed more than just the promise of rescue. He needed companionship during his ordeal. The cattle dog remained at the ravine edge, occasionally barking softly in what seemed like reassuring tones, and Dakota consistently responded by turning his head toward Copper and relaxing his posture. "It's like Copper is telling him everything's going to be okay," Jack observed as he watched the remarkable interaction. "And Dakota believes him." The breakthrough in the rescue came when Copper did something that astonished everyone present. The dog carefully made his way down into the ravine, navigating the dangerous terrain with extraordinary skill, and positioned himself directly beside Dakota's head. Instead of showing fear or aggression, the wild stallion lowered his muzzle and gently nuzzled Copper in what could only be interpreted as gratitude. "I need to document this," Dr. Martinez said as she began filming the unprecedented scene. "This behavior challenges everything we know about wild horse socialization and interspecies bonding." With Copper providing emotional support, Dakota remained calm during the complex extraction process. The rescue team used a combination of hydraulic jacks and carefully placed leverage points to shift the boulder just enough to free the stallion's trapped leg. But the most remarkable moment came when Dakota was finally free. Instead of immediately fleeing as any wild horse would normally do, the stallion remained still while Dr. Martinez treated his injuries, seeming to understand that these humans and their canine companion had saved his life. "Dakota's allowing us to provide medical care," Dr. Martinez said with amazement as she cleaned and bandaged the stallion's wounds. "Wild horses simply don't behave this way. Copper has somehow communicated that we're here to help." The bond between Copper and Dakota had transformed a dangerous rescue operation into something that resembled a collaborative effort between species. The cattle dog had not only located the trapped horse, but had become his advocate, translator, and emotional support throughout the entire ordeal. As Dakota took his first tentative steps on solid ground, he turned back toward Copper with obvious recognition that this small, loyal dog had been instrumental in saving his life. What happened after Dakota's rescue defied every expectation about wild horse behavior and created one of the most studied interspecies friendships in animal behavior research. Instead of returning to his wild herd, the buckskin stallion made a choice that would amaze scientists and touch hearts around the world. Dakota refused to leave the ranch. Despite multiple attempts to encourage him to rejoin the wild Mustang herds that roamed the surrounding mountains, the stallion consistently returned to the Double R Ranch, specifically seeking out Copper's company. This goes against everything we know about wild horse behavior, explained Dr. Jennifer Walsh, an animal behaviorist from Montana State University who came to study the unusual relationship. Wild stallions are typically solitary and suspicious of domestic animals, but Dakota has essentially adopted Copper as his family. The friendship that developed between the cattle dog and the Mustang stallion captured the attention of animal researchers worldwide. Copper and Dakota spent their days together, with the dog often riding on Dakota's back as they explored the ranch property together. The sight of a small cattle dog confidently perched on a magnificent wild stallion became a daily occurrence that never failed to amaze visitors to the ranch. They communicate in ways we're still trying to understand, Dr. Walsh observed as she documented their interactions. Copper seems to understand Dakota's needs, and Dakota responds to Copper's signals in ways that suggest a sophisticated form of interspecies language. The practical benefits of their friendship extended beyond emotional bonding. Copper's presence had a calming effect on Dakota that made veterinary care possible, routine health maintenance manageable, and allowed the stallion to integrate with the ranch's domestic horses in ways that would have been impossible without his canine mediator. Copper has essentially become Dakota's interpreter to the human world, Jack observed as he watched the pair work together to solve problems around the ranch. The dog helps Dakota understand that not all humans are threats, and Dakota protects Copper from dangers that a small dog might not recognize. The most remarkable demonstration of their bond came when a pack of coyotes threatened the ranch one evening. Dakota positioned himself protectively over Copper while using his size and strength to drive off the predators, while Copper provided early warning and strategic guidance that helped Dakota respond effectively to the threat. Each species is contributing their unique abilities to protect their friendship, Dr. Walsh documented. It's a partnership based on mutual respect and complementary skills. The story of Copper and Dakota began attracting media attention from around the world. Their friendship was featured in National Geographic, major television networks, and social media platforms where millions of people followed their daily adventures and celebrated their unlikely bond. Children write letters addressed to both Copper and Dakota, Jack said, as he read through the Daily Mail that arrived at the ranch. Their friendship gives people hope that differences can be overcome through understanding and compassion. But the most significant impact of their relationship was yet to come. Researchers studying Copper and Dakota's friendship were discovering applications for animal-assisted therapy that could revolutionize treatment for humans with disabilities, trauma, and social integration challenges. 2 years after Copper rescued Dakota from the ravine, their extraordinary friendship had become the foundation for groundbreaking research in interspecies communication and animal-assisted therapy that was transforming lives across North America and inspiring similar programs worldwide. The Copper Dakota Institute, established at the Double R Ranch, became the first research facility dedicated to studying beneficial interspecies relationships and their applications for human therapy. Dr. Walsh's pioneering research, based on the dog and stallion's communication methods, led to revolutionary approaches in treating children with autism, veterans with PTSD, and elderly individuals struggling with isolation. Copper and Dakota's friendship taught us that communication transcends species barriers, Dr. Walsh explained during her presentation to the International Conference on Animal-Assisted Therapy. Their techniques for building trust, providing emotional support, and collaborative problem-solving have applications for helping humans develop similar skills. The therapy programs inspired by their relationship achieved remarkable success rates. Children who had struggled with social interaction for years began developing communication skills after working with carefully paired interspecies therapy teams modeled on Copper and Dakota's methods. Watching Copper and Dakota taught me that being different doesn't mean you can't be friends, said 8-year-old Emma Collins, who overcame selective mutism through the Institute's therapy program. If a little dog and a big horse can understand each other, I can learn to talk to people too. Veterans participating in the program reported significant improvements in managing anxiety and building trust relationships. The combination of canine companionship and equine partnership therapy, based on Copper and Dakota's model, provided unique benefits that traditional therapy approaches had been unable to achieve. Jack Sullivan, who had been promoted to director of the Institute, often marveled at how one morning's rescue had created ripple effects that were healing lives around the world. The ranch had been transformed into a sanctuary where carefully selected interspecies pairs worked with therapists to help humans overcome their own communication and bonding challenges. Copper and Dakota didn't just save each other, Jack reflected as he watched new therapy teams working with clients. They saved the idea that friendship can cross any boundary if we're willing to look past our differences. The scientific impact of their friendship had generated millions of dollars in research funding and led to the establishment of similar programs in 12 countries. The Copper-Dakota model was being adapted for various therapeutic applications, always emphasizing the principles of mutual respect, patient communication, and collaborative problem-solving. The economic benefits brought sustainable funding to wild horse conservation efforts, with Dakota serving as an ambassador for Mustang protection, while demonstrating that wild horses could adapt to beneficial relationships with humans when treated with respect and understanding. Dakota chose to stay with us because he understood that some relationships are worth more than freedom, Dr. Walsh observed as she watched the stallion and cattle dog working together during a therapy session. His choice to remain with Copper changed how we think about wildlife conservation and the possibility of mutually beneficial human-animal partnerships. On quiet evenings, Jack often found Copper and Dakota resting together under the Montana sky, the small dog curled against the stallion's warm flank. Their friendship had become a symbol of hope for anyone who believed that love could bridge any divide. Copper and Dakota's incredible friendship proves that compassion knows no boundaries between species. If this amazing story of unlikely friendship and healing partnership inspired you, hit that subscribe button and share this video to spread hope about the power of acceptance. Tell us in the comments, what amazed you most about their interspecies communication? Your support helps fund therapy programs that use animal friendships to heal human hearts and minds.